Hey bitches, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Elle with Roselle's Creations, and today we are going to be doing a half split ombre. Half vinyl, half glitter ombre. First off, I want to thank everybody for the likes, subscribes, and the shares. It is appreciated. We are trying to hit 1,000 here on YouTube, so all the love we appreciate. Also, everything that I am using will be down below in the description box with a link and a discount code to save you some money at checkout. So, y'all ready to get into it? Let's get into it. All right, bitches. So we are going to start with a 12 by 12 inch sheet of vinyl. This vinyl can be found at Timber Ridge Graphics under the category Designs by Elle. Yes, this is one of my very first seamless files, and you can also find it for digital download with licensing information on my website. So we are doing a 30 ounce skinny. Around the width is about 9.1 inches. I cut my vinyl to about 5 inches. Once I get my vinyl cut, I place it where I want it on the tumbler, use some painter's tape to hold it in place, and then we get to adding the vinyl. I kind of eyeball it. I mean, if you want, to measure, it's all on you. They have so many tools out there that you can line it up super straight, but I'm difficult. I like to eyeball it. And as you can see, I already messed up. I'll probably mess up one or two more times in this video. I'm pulling out one of my handy dandy rulers, and I think we got it this time. Once I get my vinyl on, I make sure they have no creases in the vinyl. I use my hand and I rub it completely down on that stainless steel. Once it's down, the top and the bottom, I will pull super tight to pull over each top and bottom rim. I can go in and cut my vinyl. I am using this cup edging tool so I can get those crisp, clean lines. Once I get my vinyl trimmed, top and bottom rim, this is the fun part, and this is where we get into glittering. I just check it out, make sure everything's straight, and now we're going to start taping off our vinyl to protect it from the adhesives. You don't have to do this. I am just super freaking messy, and I'm using a black adhesive, so I want to protect my vinyl the best I can. I'm going to speed this process up, and then we're going to get into glittering. All right, now we are going to put in our cup insert, and let's get it. So I am going in with Adhesive Apothecary's Cauldron color, which is a paint primer adhesive all-in-one, and I am using the color Like My Soul, which is a black. What's cool about this is you don't have to use it as an adhesive. You can also use it as a base coat. It dries smooth, not sticky, but we are doing a 3-color ombre today. So I'm going to go straight in right after I apply it to my stainless steel. I honestly don't know what I'm doing. I think I'm looking for paintbrushes. But let's talk about this glitter we're going to be using while I get situated and get this Cauldron color painted on. I am using all PDB Creative Studio glitter. I am using the color Queen Bee, Pot of Gold, and Fake Spooky. Once I get this Cauldron color laid down, it does dry pretty fast. I got to be a little quick. Once I get it on, we're going to start the ombre process. Here lately, I am enjoying ombreing. So we've been doing a lot here lately. So this first color I am going in with is Fake Spooky. It is my darkest color, so we're going to do that one first. Darkest to lightest. I go ahead and I cover the butt of my tumbler. I go around the tumbler about 1 inch, and then I tilt my tumbler to get the glitter to cascade. Once I get it to how I like it, we're going to go in with that second color, Pot of Gold, and I am going to tilt it back and forth to blend it in the black, and then to start my blend for my next color. I have a few tutorials on how I ombre, but I'm always trying to perfect it. Now we're going to go in with Queen Bee, and we're going to do the same thing, but at the top. I go around the top, then I tilt, and I start covering the tumbler to get it how I like it. I seriously could have got away with 1 coat, but nah, I wanted this bitch to pop. So we are going to go in with a second coat. But first, I'm going to grab my heat gun so we can speed up that process. Oop, there was Emma. So I'm going to speed all that up until we get to the second coats. All right, bitches. Now that that first coat is dry, I am going in with Adhesive Apothecary's regular glitter glue. My first coat is my map. I don't want it perfect. I just want to be able to see where my colors need to lay. But since I've switched to these new adhesives, I can literally get away with one coat. As you can see, I'm doing each color by itself, trying to anyway. Some of that black started moving, but the coverage of this glitter, I don't worry about that. And you're going to see that here in a minute. Even if I have some glitter movement, the coverage is insane. So you can see I just said screw it and started brushing my adhesive all over. We're going to do the same process. I'm going to start with my darkest color first. I'm going to go in with fake Spooky. That is that black mix. We're going to cover the bottom of the tumbler. We're going to tilt. And we're going to start letting it cascade down. With the second coat, I do a thicker coat of adhesive of that regular glitter glue so I can have more working time, because this is the part where I actually take my time and blend. I lay out the colors, tilt it back and forth, but if you pay attention to that paper, you see barely any glitter coming out of these bottles. Like I said, you do not need a lot because the coverage is insane. But you see, I'm going back and forth. Back to fake Spooky. Went to pot of gold. Back to fake Spooky. Tapping in that blend, going back and forth. Now I'm going to go in with my final color, which is the lightest, Queen Bee. I'm going to go over the top of the tumbler again. Make sure we're not drying. And we're going to lay that glitter, we're going to tilt it, and we're going to bring it down into that gold, that pot of gold. And just go back and forth until we get that blend just how we like it. I'm going to speed it up. Stay tuned. Now that we have our glitter blended out, it is time to peel this tape. Your glitter looks kind of funky because you know it's overlapping on that tape. So we're going to pull the tape and we're going to see those nice, crisp lines. Oh, it just looks amazing already. What do you guys think? I'm still a little shook. This is one of my first tumblers with my designs that I created. And these glitters just match this vinyl perfectly. Now that we have the tape peeled, that's what it looks like. We are going to let it dry. And then next up, we are going to be sealing it with Adhesive Apothecary's binding potion. What I'm doing here is just getting some of the adhesive because I'm messy. So I was getting it wiped off. But now once it dries, like I said, we're going to get it sealed. And then first coats of epoxy. But first, had to take it outside to take some videos. Look at that sparkle. These glitters are over a black base, so I love how, like, they're deeper, they're darker. Isn't it pretty? It's so pretty. These glitters, this vinyl. It's so exciting. But we're going to let it dry and then get this baby sealed up so we can do first coats of epoxy. All right, so here we are sealing it up with Adhesive Apothecary's binding potion. I always start with my darkest color first, as if I was glittering with multiple glitters. I have found with the binding potion, it doesn't matter how much you use. It dries transparent. It dries the same. It seals the glitter. It does its job. So I do a pretty thick coat. A pretty thick coat of the binding potion. So I'm going to get this black glitter all covered up. Then I am going to seal the gold. And then I'm going to seal the champagne gold. Once I get my individual colors completely sealed, I then go into my blends and I start tapping it and just blending it in, making sure it's all covered, like right here. It looks kind of white, looks kind of milky. Have no fear, it dries completely clear. Oh shit, that rhymed. So depending on your environment and how warm or cool it is, that's the dry time. That's what it's going to depend on. My room likes heat. I keep it warm. My binding potion dries in an hour to 2 hours. Once my binding potion is dry, I then get my chip brush, and that's what I'm doing. I'm just tapping it to show that there is no glitter falling off. There's no glitter movement. I'm even going to wipe it very hard with my hand, dry brush it like I am here. Once this baby is sealed, that glitter is not moving. It doesn't go on your vinyl. It doesn't smear. This binding potion does just that. This glitter is stuck. Like, you can't even tell I sealed it. It looks like I just glittered it. So now that I have dry brushed the hell out of it, it is time to go in with our first coats of epoxy. I am using DIY Epoxy Speedy Petey. I mixed up about 30 ml, and you will find it down below in the description box with a discount code. I want to get this whole tumbler covered, so I'm going to use the entire 30 ml. Ever since switching to the binding potion, my epoxy doesn't sink in my glitter. Like, the glitter doesn't saturate it because there's that barrier from the sealer. I only have to do 1 coat of epoxy or 2 very thin coats. I save now on epoxy. The sealer is doing its job. Like I said, we have that barrier, and I'm telling you, I'm saving so much. My glitter doesn't move. The sparkle is still there. Like, I am just in awe over these new products that I have started to use. They are amazing. Now look at this bitch. I let it spin for an hour and 45 minutes, 2 hours, until it's completely dry. Look at that shine. Oh! Then, once it's cured, we go into striping. So, I like being a little extra with my striping. What I am doing is doing like a double stack around my vinyl, around that half split. I am using Teckwrap Crafts vinyl, black mirror chrome, and their gold metallic. And then I am going in with Foilz and Flakez, Ozone metal in the smallest size. Once I get my striping done, I then seal my stripes with binding potion. I forgot to record that. I seal it and I let it dry. Once my sealer is dry, we are going to go in with our final coats of DIY Epoxy Speedy Petey. What you see right there is fairy dust. It is an epoxy additive. Oh my gosh, it gives the most beautiful gold shimmer. You'll be able to see it right here. Once I get done mixing my epoxy for 3 minutes, I am then going to add a minute amount. You're going to see right here. I barely add any, and look at this shimmer. You can start to see the gold. This is my favorite additive. Let's put a little bit more and just wait until you see this over this tumbler. Now let's get into that final coat. Once I get my epoxy laid down, I make sure I have a nice, thin, even coat, just in case we have any micro bubbles, then bubbles can escape. Once I get my tumbler completely covered, I then go in with my propane torch, hit it 1 to 2 rotations. 1 to 2 rotations. Like I said, if we got micro bubbles, the propane torch is going to pop those, so we will get a nice smooth coat. I didn't record my second coat of epoxy, but my final coats I always do 2. So I let this one spin for a couple hours till it's dry. Then I go directly in and do 1 more coat, and then it's complete. Here I am hitting it with the propane torch, a couple of rotations, and then we let it be. We let it spin out and let it cure. This tumbler was so much fun to make. I still can't believe that's my design. I've said that like 2 or 3 times in this video already. But that is, and you can find the vinyl at Timber Ridge Graphic or the digital on my website with licensing. Just look at this bitch. If you made it this far, thanks so much for watching. Please like, subscribe, and share, bitches.